we are going to do this project together. So make sure that you have opened your Adobe Illustrator for you to be good to go. So we are going to use the selection tool. We're going to use the direct selection tool. We're going to use the pen tool, and we'll use shapes. And we're going to do a simple key tag. So this key tag will be in the form of a hat. So you will go to your pen tool. When you just hover your mouse there, it will show your pen tool. If you right click on your pen tool, you'll see this, you'll see add anchor, you'll see remove anchor, and you'll see anchor point tool. So let's start with the first tool, which is the pen tool. So you'll click on the pen tool, this tool. Your mouse pointer should be looking like this with a star. So once you have that, just make sure that in the field you have this dash. So how you get the dash, it means you're not having a color in the field. So you come, if you're not having a dash there, you're having a color, maybe you're having, let's say white field, it should not be this way. Click on this white field and make sure you have the dash there. It means we don't have a filling color. We won't fill whatever we're making for now. Then come to the stroke. The stroke is the line. Make sure your stroke or your line is not a dash. If it's a dash, it means you won't be able to see the line because it will be transparent. So make sure your line is black. We're starting with black. So just choose color black. If you find it, if you find a dash there, it means you don't have a line. So you won't be able to see your stroke, which is a line. So make sure you click on the stroke, choose the line. So once that is in place, come back to the pen tool. Make sure you are the pen tool, and you'll just click there. You click, don't drag, just click. Release your mouse, don't drag. Move your mouse. We're not dragging, you're just moving the mouse while releasing our fingers. Click again, release your finger. Don't drag, just move your mouse. And then come somewhere here. If it gives you a line, click again, don't drag, don't hold your mouse down, release your fingers, and just move move your mouse slowly. Then click there again. Then release your fingers, just drag the mouse, but don't pull, don't push your fingers in, and join them again. So you'll press escape. After pressing escape, you just go back to anytime you want to get out of the tools, for example the pen tool or any other tool, always just click on this selection tool to get you out, and you will always have this pointer when you're not doing anything with selection. With other, you're not using any other different tool. So you might be wondering why our hat is looking like this. Basically that's because I want to show you how to make curves from the pen tool. Remember, we just explored only the straight pen lines, but I want to show you how you can pull this part, make it curve, 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 which it will be something awesome for you to use in your project. So if I want to do that, I want to look for the anchor tool. The anchor tool is also under the pen tool. So you don't click. If you click on the pen tool, it will bring you this star. That's not what you want. Instead of clicking on the pen tool, clicking is normally left clicking. You right click, use the other side of the mouse. Right click. It will give you the list. So when it gives you the list, go to the anchor. This is the one you want to make curves. It makes curves out of straight lines. So pick the anchor tool. We were using this. Now we're going to use this. So when you click it, you know that it was automatically changed. But it doesn't mean we have lost our pen tool. If we right click, we still have our pen tool there. But for now, we want to use this. So we are at our anchor tool. So our anchor point, when you just pick the point you want to make a curve, you drag it. How beautiful does this go? You drag that point. Now you see what I meant? You drag that point, getting there, getting there, getting there, getting there. You drag this point too, getting there. You can even make it big as you want, big as you want. Go all the way overboard. You don't have to be perfect because we're training ourselves. Go all the way overboard, like that. Nice. So just to take you back, you have used this pen tool to make the first lines. I'm right clicking, I right click, right click. You've used this one to make the first the straight lines, and now you've used this to make these curves. You adjust the anchor tool to make the curves. You just drag them through. So you might be wondering, it doesn't look like a real hat. Is it possible for us to? This one's normally called nodes. This one are nodes. In case you want to add nodes or remove nodes, right click here. This one will help you add nodes. If you click on it, it has a plus. If I want to add a node there, I will add a node. If I want to remove that node, I just right click and I click the minus and I go to that node, I remove the node. That's how you will see it as a minus. And if I want to take it back to how it was, I will right click and go back there to my pen tool, go to the anchor point, drag it right away. It goes back to the shape that I had made. So you might be wondering, is it possible for me to move the anchor points, not the anchor point, the nodes, to drag the nodes? So if you want to drag the nodes, remember I told you the specific direct selection tool. This is the one that allows you to play around the nodes. You can play around the nodes, you can move them, you can shrink them, you can do whatever thing you want. So let me leave this on default. I go to this direct selection tool and I click on a node. I drag a node. I can drag the node whatever way I want to. I can drag this node anywhere I want to. I can drag this node anywhere I want to. I can even play around with the configuration. See, if I drag this thing which comes, I drag it in such a way it can make different shapes depending on how I want it to be. You see, it can go that way, it can go this way, it can adjust. Click again there, it gives me two, it gives me this one, gives me this one. I can use this to play around with this side. I can use this to play around with this other side. You see, it's getting towards there. If I want to play around with this part, I click on it, it gives me two of them again. I can use this. No, I wanted this one. I can use this to play around this to make it much smoother, and I can use this to play around with this other part. You can move that way, make it longer, shorter, you just drag it. Yeah, it's closer to our heart, right? It doesn't have to be perfect because we just learned it. So click on it again, and let me try. I'm tempted to make it perfect, but I don't want to make it perfect. Yeah, let's settle that for now. Yeah, you can make a better one. I just settled on that. So once you've done that, you just click on the selection tool, and the selection tool, always make sure once you used any of the tools available here, always go back to the selection tool for you to be able to do anything else. So you can move it around, play around with it. You see, that's how my heart looks like. Currently my heart, it doesn't have a fill, it has a stroke. A stroke is this line. So I want to show you the difference between a stroke and a fill. So right now we have a black stroke. If make sure you selection tool, I've clicked on the object. If I want to change the color of my stroke, maybe I want a red stroke. That's my stroke. If I click on it, go to the right, the stroke is red. You will note that if I click on this white space, it takes me to the artboard because I've clicked on the artboard. But if it gives me the settings for the artboard. But if I click on the image, it now gives me settings for the image. I can even change here. I can scale it from here, even change the width and change the height. So once this one is selected, you can maintain the width and the height, the ratio. So you only need to change one side. For example, if this one is in millimeters, if I change this one to just let's say 60 millimeters, it will automatically change the height. It has changed the height too because I have maintained the ratio, and it has also changed the size of my object. So if I want to give my object a fill, same thing. I just come here, the object is selected, I come to the fill, I give it maybe let's say green. See, I have a green heart which has a red stroke. So let's say I want to increase the size of the stroke. Maybe the stroke is a little bit smaller. Just click on the stroke, and you will see here the stroke, and then there is PT. This is the size. So it's normally 1 PT is normally there. Default. You can always increase that size, let's say 3. See, it becomes bigger. Let's say I want it to be much bigger, even 6. See, that's how you increase the size of your stroke. So go back and just take it back maybe to let me say 3. If something will cut out, maybe it's always good to you're going to send to the laser, and maybe you want the laser to follow this line. It's always good for you to the laser printer to maintain 1 PT. But if it's just a design you're making, maybe for to be printed and not to be cut by a laser, you can play around with that setting. So maybe the last thing I want just to show you is playing around with text, which is something big you're going to use in your projects. So for text, you see this letter T. If you just hover around, it will show you type. So if I click this, now it allows me to type. It will bring this icon thing. So if I click there, that's where I want to type. Don't worry about the lorem, IP, SUM, something. That's just the default one, which shows you where you can type. If you just go away and type, let me say my name, which is Anthony. Anthony. Yes, that's what will come, but don't do anything else because you see, I want to show you something. If I click again, it will bring another typing thing. That's not what you want. So, so long as you are in this thing, this icon which has a letter I inside, you are still in the right typing mode. So always make sure you get out of these modes by going back to the selection tool. So it will get you out of that mode. If you didn't want this, just hit delete from your keyboard. Then you can also just go there and select this. So maybe you want to change the size of Anthony. So if you want to change the size, go at the far top here. You'll see there's 12 PT. That's PT is always the size. So you can, you see, when I'm moving, I'm going down, it keeps changing. Like that's 36. If I want to type, I can also type. So let's say I want size 20, I can just type 20 and hit enter. Size 20. Let's say I want 30. To be a little bit bigger, I'll type 30 and hit enter. There we go, I have 30. So I move it to the center. They don't like this font. I want a font which is good. Maybe come here. A lot of fonts here I can pick. Oh, like this one. Let me click that font and also increase the size a little bit, maybe 48. Looks awesome. So there you go. That's how you play around with fonts. Then maybe we are creating a key tag, and that key tag maybe you want a hole where the key chain or something, the ring can pass through. So basically you want something around there. You won't use the pen tool to draw that round thing. You will use these shapes. You go to shapes. So this is the rectangular shape. You don't want the rectangular. So you will right click for it to give you options. So for those options, you will come and pick the eclipse, and you just drag. Before you drag the eclipse, go here and confirm it doesn't have a stroke, it has a fill. What does it mean? It means that it doesn't have an outline, so but it has just a color inside. So always make sure that you have a fill, a stroke. That's the line which is the out, and you can get rid of the fill so that it's just a circle, which is a hole, and you can tell maybe the printer or something to cut it out. So once you've made sure you have a stroke which is black, it can be any color, and you don't have a fill, I can just come and draw your stuff there. Good. Now when I come back to my selection tool, it can allow me to position it whatever where I want, and that will be maybe a hole I will dig in and maybe get it out for my thing. So that's I think this will help you when you want to create something out of Adobe Illustrator. You want to create words, create a lot of things. Maybe you want to go a step ahead and you want to cut this on a laser cutter or a laser printer or something like that, laser cutting machine. Always make sure that your text is when you go to the type, make sure your text is outlines. You created outlines, so you select your text, then go to type, and you come to create outlines. So when you create outlines, it will no longer be a word now. This is now not text. This is more of drawings, and that can be seen by the laser printer. So if you've not created outlines, the laser printer can't cut it out, or it can't engrave or do anything. So that's all about that. And in the next video, I'll show you how to save it for specific purposes. So thank you.